World Conspiracy by Nikola Nikolov. Chapter 3. Adam Weishaupt. What the historians don't tell you. Manual work can be controlled by the hands while the spiritual work is like fire and flood that almost uncontrollable. They are spreading by itself. He was born on February 6, 1748 in Germany. He is still too young professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt. Before he was a priest in the ranks of the Jesuits, the so-called the Gestapo, the Roman Catholic Church, on May 1, 1776, he founded a kind of secret republican movement called the Illuminati, a very old mystical name given to schools and groups that study Babylonian mysticism. The Illuminati includes people who are struggling to enter the as yet undiscovered human senses and discover their spiritual qualities or clairvoyances, the so-called third eye. There were many sects in different countries under the name Illuminati, but none has played such a role as the movement of Weishaupt from Bavaria. This organization is based on Jesuit rules and principles with very strict internal discipline and mutual observation. After 1778, its members managed to subdue the Masonic lodges, which began to hold strictly theirs politics. All command posts in the lodges are occupied by the people of Weishaupt. The main and ultimate goal of Illuminism is a world revolution, which they seek to do through most of the leaders of the states, their pawns, blindly carrying out their orders. The occult and demonic principles underlying them doctrine, change the minds and intentions of those who have entered their ranks. The beginning of this satanic teaching originates from agnosticism, of which one of the first leaders was the famous Jew Simon Magus, in the 1st century AD. Illuminism spread in Italy, Spain, Sweden and much of the world, and in the US, much faster to borrow today perhaps a priority. This teaching uses agnostic spiritism to gain to the laws of nature. His supporters claim to be able to mystically reach all the secrets of nature, as well as the energy and power emanating from them. With his intelligence and Jesuit perseverance, Weishaupt manages to summarize and rework these old teachings and create a satanic doctrine of world conquest called the Illuminati. The influence of his evil genius kills millions and feels even today. Weishaupt himself became known to all by name Illuminati. After the Masonic lodges were completely conquered by the Illuminati, they become the dominant force and begin the execution of the hellish Weishaupt's plans for the destruction of Christianity and liquidation of public administrations. Anyone who was not with them was against them. They used chemicals and poisons unknown until then no one. With them they have eliminated their awkward personalities. This happens known to the Bavarian government, which in a sudden inspection of the Bavarian Masonic Lodge in August 1785 confiscated all these chemicals are owned by the organization. According to the famous historian Nestor Webster, all the formulas used by Weishaupt originated in Persian and Egyptian religious sources and serve purely material purposes and destruction of the existing society. In order to completely conquer the Masonic lodges, Weishaupt invented a secret system through which all his men very quickly reach highest degrees and take power and management of the lodges. Thousands of such lodges are being set up around the world, and under the command of Weishaupt undermines any government that interferes with the main boss, Rothschild, hidden behind the scenes. According to Professor Robertson, Weishaupt's program is as follows: 1. Destruction of all peaceful governments. 2. Elimination of heredity. 3. Removal of private property. 4. Eliminate patriotism. 5. Destruction of the family. 6. Abolition of religion. 7. Creating a world government. But to achieve all these 7 points would mean let the world crash and fall apart. As I mentioned above, Weishaupt was raised in a Jesuit order and has embraced the ferocity and cruelty of the organization. The Jesuits are the vanguard and army of the Roman Church. The order they were founded in 1541 by Ignatius Loyola. A year before that, Pope Paul III recognized them as Regimini Militantis Ecclesiae. Loyola becomes the first general of the order. The story of this Christ organization is written with a lot of Protestant blood. Smooth, the Jesuits' residence was established in the Vatican, where the Pope took them used for all special missions. At the request of many countries in 1773 the Pope disbanded the organization, but soon after it was restored again. To this day, there are even many Jesuit schools and colleges. They are known for their strictness observance of his teachings and his mysticism. They are the so-called Black International. The oath of the Jesuits upon joining the order is as follows: in the name of Christ crucified, I swear to break all kinds of relationships that bind me to my father, mother, brothers, sisters, relatives, friends, with the king, judges and any other authority I belong to, served or swore for obedience or service. I give up from my birthplace, henceforth my existence is in another area. I swear to reveal to my boss everything I do, think, read, study and see around me. The intrigue and bad name characteristic of this Catholic order are known all over the world. But for what they will wear forever responsibility are the Bartholomew massacres of August 24, 1572, when they killed more than 100,000 Huguenots in a particularly vile and cruel way. Weishaupt's tricks and intentions are revealed in a letter to his close associate and accomplice. We need to think about how to get started in some other form. As long as the goal is achieved, no matter under what pretext it will be executed. Always one cover is needed. We have to hide under the name of another organization. The lodges that are under Freemasonry at the moment are the most appropriate mantle for our sublime purpose, because the world knows them. He no longer expects anything very big from them deserves attention. We need to wrap ourselves in impenetrable darkness and do not allow any spies or envoys from other organizations. In another letter from Weishaupt we find the following confession: my situation requires me to stay hidden from most members while I'm alive. I have to do it all through no more than 5 or 6 people. This will show how easy it will be for a smart head to conduct hundreds of thousands of people. In another of his letters he wrote, I have 2 right behind me on whom I inspire my spirit, my desire, and each of these 2 there are also 2 others, etc. This is the best way give orders and operate politically. With such ways of action and methods this perverted organization has served to enable the Rothschilds to achieve their plans to disrupt the world through revolutions. The first explosion was the French Revolution of 1789 and all revolutions have followed ever since. Very well thought out plans and covert actions of this conspiratorial organization are discovered only after the visible effect: revolt, revolution, war, artificial famine, economic cataclysms. Successors of Weishaupt and its Illuminati movement are the trio, Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels and Lassalle. They process the facade of this doctrine, preserving its basic ideas. Putting emphasis on altruistic principles, they preserve the revolutionary in the doctrine. And the most interesting thing is that these 3 are considered leaders of socialism and communism, have never been workers or of a salary for which they are so passionate about justice, fought. Marx was a lazy man without any morals. Lassalle inherits a huge legacy and has never worked in his life. Nothing. Engels, a very wealthy cotton manufacturer, used the labor of children to whom he paid meager wages. Marx, whose real name is Mordecai, changed his name to similar to Weishaupt and his example was followed by others leaders of the Bolshevik Revolution. Marx originated from rabbinical family. According to many historians, he owned a lot bad character, vicious, intolerant, bilious and unbearable. His works do not rest on any scientific basis. Everything is dominated by his emotions. But one thing is true, he is very good a follower of Adam Weishaupt and undoubtedly helped the Bolsheviks' revolution, which is a complete copy of the French. Weishaupt changes his name to Spartacus. Like him, the first communists in Europe called themselves Spartacists and changed their name later, when communists are called. The influence of the Illuminati in Europe and the United States is enormous. It is passed on to future generations and so far through the oldest secret sciences: astrology, occultism, Kabbalism, numerology and others. A lot prominent Americans were also one of them. In 1913 the Federal Reserve puts on the back of the $1 bill the Egyptian pyramid with the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. The subversive activity once carried out by the Illuminati and its subordinate Masonic lodges are made today by more than 12,000–13,000 different organizations scattered around the world. Under the slogan of world peace, these conspirators aim to destroy half the world's population with atomic bombs, for whose removal they speak so diligently. Lately on their part there is a lot of pressure to freeze and destroy the nuclear weapon. The goal is to get everything under the control of the UN, an organization which is the current headquarters of the Illuminati. As before, Weishaupt had special schools set up with purpose to study internationalism. Today his followers also support such universities, where not everyone can enter. Why are there so many communists in Hollywood? Because movie companies are owned by international bankers and filmmakers are their pawns. Why most of the staff of ABC, CBC and NN the BBC is a member of the Trilateral Commission and the Liaison Committee abroad. Because the owners of these companies are the same conspirators bankers who control the Soviet Union and communist countries. The means and instruments of the communist movement for revolutions and wars have actually taken shape here in the United States, and never have not been as active as they are now. The connection between Rothschild and the United States is through him partner from Frankfurt, Jakob Schiff, who does a lot healthy not only financial but also kinship with Pavel Wartburg, Felix Wartburg and Rockefeller, after which the Great One was formed American Banking Confederation. The Illuminati are entering not only the banking, but also the political and military circles of the United States. They have their people in Congress, the Senate, the military, the CIA, and even presidents. Wilson is one of them, as is Franklin Roosevelt. In the famous 14 Wilske's points hide the secret intentions of the conspirators, all nations to renounce their independence. Adam Weishaupt is one of the most ingenious performers Rothschild's infernal intentions. In Paris, 200 years ago brings thousands of thugs from all over. They are paid daily for each of their participation. These are huge funds, which only the Rothschilds can meet. Today we live in another stage of development and thinking. It is necessary for the people to be manipulated in a completely different way, with velvet gloves. Schools, colleges, universities, research institutes and much more religious organizations are today's Illuminati, which as well previously supported morally and materially by megabanks. Weishaupt died a long time ago, but his ideas and methods were accepted used today by the heirs of Rothschild, who, just like Weishaupt, have hidden behind many other bankers, scholastics and government departments. He died at the age of 82 and up the last day of his life, many years after the French Revolution, continues to manage the criminal activities of its finances masters who maintain with incredibly large material means the brutal conspiracies of his organization. One of the main reasons why people perceive the idea of this organization is the fanatical oppression of the people by the Roman Catholic Church, which divides the people into two fighting for power factions. The atrocities of the Catholic Church make people angry and easily they make them supporters of the enemy, which in this case is the Illuminati.